everybody, and welcome back to OMSI 2, the bus simulator. You are with me and more bus videos, otherwise known as and more central, depending on what day of the week I'm filming and what video you are watching. And more central is our main YouTube channel, so do go and check that one out if you haven't already. But as you can see in front of us, we have the unmistakable roar of the B9TL. Specifically, the Blueprint Productions Volvo B9TL Gemini. If you missed it, then goodness me, I don't know how you managed that. You did quite well. It has been released very recently by Blueprint Productions. They've released this in the B7TL. Now, since my previous video of the B7TL, the B7 has had some sound sorted. Please go and check out that previous video if you have no idea what I'm on about. If you also want a full bus has just spawned within me. If you do want a full, there we go, we'll get rid of that. Do want a full review of the B9, my first impressions of it, go and check out my original video in our brand new revamped OMSI 2 series. Those will be linked in the top right screen during points of this video, as well as in the description. But for now, we're going to be having a look at one of the third-party repaints. So far, we've covered repaints that were included in the official Blueprint Productions repaint pack, some of which were compiled by Miles W, some I believe from other folk as well. However, this particular one is part of the Translink repaint pack available on the Fellas Film Forum. So this is a free third-party repaint pack created for the Gemini, using some of the Gemini specs and using local interest. So this reflects Translink Ulsterbus and Citybus, that is the authority bus operator in Northern Ireland, run by the local authority. There's very few independents, and if they do run, they don't operate public services. It's all in the hands of Citybus if you live locally in the city of Belfast, or Translink or Translink Foil, or Foley, I think it might be, if you live out of Belfast in either some of the villages such as Derry, or if you live in rural Northern Ireland. So this blue livery is what they use with Ulsterbus, the pink livery is Citybus. We're using the older style Ulsterbus blue with the blue stripe down the side. It also has, this particular example 2244, has the old Ulsterbus logo at the front. It is OEZ7244, got its usual Northern Ireland registration plate. It does feature this livery. Some of them are now in just overall blue livery. They seem to make a move a few years ago on my visit, actually, when I went to Belfast, into painting Ulsterbus vehicles in all over blue, sort of a darker shade of blue to this current blue, and repainting Citybus into all over pink. I think they might have moved away from that now, but I know that that was something they were going through. Ulsterbus vehicles tend to feature seat belts with these high back seats that you can see on the lower and upper decks with their unique maquette. So in this video, we started off with the usual blind. We are going to be covering the 49 service. So I am late to cover the 49 service. That is always brilliant. And we are covering the peak time run initially. It was going to be the X49, but for why have you not worked? What have I done wrong? Or have I done it the wrong way around? There we go, I did. Even though I had the numbers in front of me, I did it the wrong way around. That's brilliant. And we do have all of our lighting set up. I've got the vehicle set up as well. Hopefully started, unless it has just, I think we've just missed the idle shutdown. There we go, we're back on. And now we're going to mess with this. So our route number is going to be the 49. This is one of the Blueprint Productions HOF files that come with it. So there are a few I'm going to have to copy over later on in this mini-series. However, we're still using the base ones. So we are at Carmilly. We are going to the city centre. But just to note, if you do look for the X49, the peak time runs, they are also here. This is a slightly different controller to the ones that we've been using. The other ones we've been using have just sort of the free arrows and FE to confirm. This has your numbers, your letters, and your bits like that on it. So if we have a look, we're all blinded up. So let's make our way round. So I do drive the 49, or used to drive the 49 a fair bit, so I do tend to know where it goes. But for the purposes of this, if you are watching and you're like, oh, I don't know where this route goes. Thank you for letting me out, Car. I didn't really give you much choice because lag decided to kick in. As I have spawned at Carmilly, not the city first, so I want to see how this copes with this particular map. That, as you can see there with that lag spike, it was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I want to see how it copes with this particular map, purely because for those of you that have driven on here before, you will be aware that it is a lovely map, but it does have a couple of lag spike points. So it is one of these maps that does have a little bit of lag, so you do have to watch out for that. That's a shame that that hasn't worked. I was going to do a turning shot, but then I just sort of turned and forgot. So it's quite interesting, these B9s, most of the B9s, I think all of the B9s actually, that you travel on were built within the Translink Ulsterbus empire. They were actually built at Ballymena, or Ballymena, depending on who you speak to. That is just north of Belfast, and is served by Ulsterbus. It's served by, I believe at the moment, Scaniard chassis Wrights vehicles. So because these were bodied by Wrights, with the chassis by Volvo, it was during a very close relationship time. So as I say, the majority, if not all of them, came from Northern Ireland. Thus why it's pretty cool that we've got so early on a Translink repaint pack, because it was obviously the area that B9 Geminis were sort of really formed. Don't know, I'm having an issue with the acceleration today. It's just me taking it very steady. I am going to take the red text off unless we do need it later on. So I'm noticing a bit of a frames drop. I think you can probably all see similar. There is a bit of a frames drop on this map compared to when we drove it with Bowden. Yes, I do remember it being a little bit slower than normal, but the criticism with this B9 is I think you do have to be a little bit more mindful when and where you spawn it, because it does seem to be falling out a little bit with the map. Just to note as well, many of you will be wondering what these perfectly replicated orange lights are at the sides of the destinations at the front and the back. Now, B9's just gone past my window. That's quite funny. B9's just gone past on a school run. I just heard it roar down the hill. I was like, oh, B9. Those lights are something that you have to have if you are operating a school service within Northern Ireland. So you will see many vehicles that have come from Northern Ireland with those lights. Now, those lights denote you operate in a school service. So when you are running a school run in Northern Ireland, you are supposed to have those lights on, and they're supposed to be flashing. So the idea behind that is basically to alert folks so that they are school buses. Just a very, very similar concept to what you get in America, where you have the lights flashing. I believe the lights are supposed to flash when the vehicle, I believe, is stationary, it stops. I don't know what it is if they are moving. I don't know if they're supposed to just flash generally on the school run or when they're at stops. But basically, those lights are used during a school run. So when buses are doing school services, so every school bus in Northern Ireland will have them. Ulsterbus have them on their vehicles. Citybus don't in Belfast, but that's because they don't operate any of the school services. But Ulsterbus do. So some Ulsterbus school vehicles operate out of Belfast and do the school runs. Again, having the lights flashing when they're on school runs. I again can't remember if that is to do with where I am going to switch the arrows off, because I can find my way. I don't know if that is just to do with when they're stationary, when they're moving as well. But as I say, they do have that feature on them as sort of like a safety, an additional safety feature. See if I can get a nice screenshot here, seeing as I... Oh. Still got a bit of foliage. That's really annoying, because otherwise that would have been quite nice. That's something that's annoying me, I think, at the moment, is for some reason my OMSI keeps resetting the cameras. It used to hold my F2 cameras, it doesn't anymore. And that's a little bit annoying. But the idea with the lights is it comes from an American concept where American school buses have their flashing lights and they're more visible, and sort of obviously you know that you've got kids on the bus and what have, so keeps everybody safe, basically. It's very much a safety feature. I am going to go back. Oh, this is it. I am still getting my head round all of these cameras. I will get it eventually. It'll be by the end of this sort of B9, B7 focus OMSI 2 series we're doing. It'll be the very, very last episode. I will be like, I cracked the cameras, I've done it. The cameras are amazing, and it's because it doesn't just give you a singular angle, it does actually give you that choice that I really, really like. But I might keep falling short of stops. There we go, that's a bit better. So we're now pulling into the park and ride, and then apart from going past the depot, we are then just direct into the city centre. So initially this video was going to be the Kraken repaint pack. I couldn't get it working initially, and I was going to do the Ulsterbus later on. And I'm really glad I've done the Ulsterbus now, as it sort of allowed me to reminisce off my trip to Belfast. I did it, for those of you that have watched the videos on the Ammo Central channel, you'll remember my trip over there, because I filmed quite a bit. I did the glider and a couple of other bits and bobs, and so it was a very, very exciting trip. I was then also quite lucky to go when they were still operating the B9TL ALX 400. Oh, Games UK is playing OMSI too. I was also lucky enough to go when they had the old ALX, so not the ones with these high back seats. The newer ones, they still had some of the older vehicles as well running around. Just keep getting stuck in gear. That I have noticed. Get stuck in gear and jumped gears a little bit more than I'd anticipate. Now I'm going to try and get a screenshot here, because I think, well, I was hoping we'd get a little bit more, a little bit more in than that, but see if I can move it. I was really, yeah, it's going to have to be a bit further on then. It's going to have to be the cliched turning shot, I think. And I'm not always 100% fan of, but for the purposes of said lighting, as you can all see, I think that's come out quite nice. So I think we can live with that. And let's say that's, yeah, might get another nice one like that as well. Pan it across a little. The joys of doing real-life bus photography as well means you take screenshots a lot more seriously than you used to. No one wanting us. I think we are it says we're a minute early, so, but we'll keep going because we are just taking it quite steady. Well, what I'll also do is I'll link in the description some of the videos from when I went to Belfast, saw the Ulsterbus vehicles and Citybus vehicles, just so you can all have a little mull over that and understand the context, because I think a lot of this, when a YouTuber drives a vehicle in a random livery that they might reference and understand, I think sometimes it's very difficult as the person watching to, if you're not from that area or you haven't visited, to sort of place it into context. So as I say, I do have many videos on said context, so that'll be something I'm able to do. I did also do a very recent trip to Dublin. The videos won't be coming out for a fair bit because of how busy I am with other elements and walks of life. I've scheduled the Amber Central channel quite well, so it means that there's no gaps. So as I am doing with this as well, so it does mean that it is very well scheduled, but it does mean that some of these series that have come out quite recently were filmed a little bit of time ago, purely because I've been filming that much has happened, and life, as you do. I am also, for those who are interested in the goings on of South Yorkshire, yes, I am aware that a load of London Red Solos have appeared with TM Travel. Yes, I have now been on all of them bar 2, the time I filmed this. There is a couple of days before it's coming out because, as I mentioned in the previous videos, I'm sort of filming these in advance a little bit, not too far, but a little bit in advance, just so that they're a little bit more reliable. So I'm filming these in series style blocks now, so that it's more reliable. With, as you've seen, we've revamped the thumbnails, revamped the titles, revamped what we're doing in them. I've done a little bit more research as well, just to make them a little bit more exciting. But on this day, another one, 11:51, has entered service. So I went on the second to last one I needed yesterday, because the final one I need, 11:48, evaded me before Christmas. I went for it before Christmas. It ran early through a timing point, and I was sat on a different bus watching it zoom round the corner and watch me miss it. That was really fun, and now it hasn't been out since. So I believe that's having some work done to it. The annoying thing is I was on 11:49. That was the second to last one I required. And I looked on the tracker and the driver had booked it on as 11:48, to which I was very annoyed, because that means that if he's doing that with that, it means I could go for 11:48 and it's 49. But we're not worrying about that. We've now got 2 of them to tick off. That's 11:48 when it returns, 11:51 when it does a Sheffield, probably tomorrow, hopefully, all being well, tomorrow afternoon, evening, or tomorrow early morning, depending on how willing I am to get up early. So we'll probably try and get that in. And I'm trying to sample them all. I'm waiting until they're all out in service, trying to sample all of them, and then I can do the video on them, and then go on a couple of Sheffield routes. I'll probably do one on the 9 and one on the 31 or the 32, something like that. So basically, when they're all out, I can sort of pick 1 or 2 from the different batches that we've got, because there's a couple of different batches, a couple of different specifications of them, couple of different ways they've been branded, debranded, stuff like that, and I can sample an array of them, a variety of them, that is good for you lot, and it also means I'm not trying to run around like an headless chicken trying to chase 2 of them all day around Sheffield. That's also beneficial for me. Thus why that video hasn't been released yet. I also, because all the buses aren't out, I don't know all the registrations and what the fleet numbers are going to be. Thus again, why I am waiting, because I kind of want them all to enter service. I do also have a video that I did record when the first one entered traffic, because I was as luck and pure chance would have it, I was on a day off when the first one entered service. So there is a video on that coming out very soon, but I'm going to do a proper in-depth video on those solos once they're all out. Once we know all the fleet numbers and regs, and once I can then bear all of that in mind and plan a video that puts all of the different ones into consideration. So basically a video where you're actually getting a proper good in-depth review of them all, and you're like, okay, I understand, that looks absolutely stunning. I understand why I'm more central weighted. I can now see this review. I understand this is the different fleet numbers and regs. This is where they're operating. This is what they've replaced. And this is the sort of a cross section of the group of vehicles. Some of which, from sampling them already, are significantly better than others. So, but we have digressed. It seems to have caught quite well, does this, on the 49. It's always a good sign if I can sort of go off and have a discussion about something else, that it's coping quite well, because it's been smooth. We have had a few issues with that gearbox. The gearbox doesn't seem to cope quite well with my driving setup. I don't know if it's different if you have pedals, but because I don't have pedals, I don't know if I'm being hindered with that. It does seem to sort of lock itself into a gear and then go, I don't want to change. Like I am on a morning, where I sort of get up and I'm like, I don't want to get up. Alarm goes off and I'm like, no, not yet. I do like this repaint though. The repaint pack, as I say, includes the Citybus, Belfast, and the Ulsterbus and Ulsterbus Foley foil. I believe it is Foley liveries. It includes different variations, I believe, with different fleet numbers, different specifications, and as you can see from this, we've got an advert on, we've got all the details with the red at the bottom that's unique to the particular vehicle, fleet number, depot code, perfectly placed name, so there's no overlap with the CCTV camera. We do have our lights. Unfortunately, they aren't functional. That is a shame. There are limits to what we can do in OMSI, but then we've got this. That again, really in sort of focus, so you're not looking at that from up close and going, oh, it's really out of focus. Realistic advert, the old name at the front, the other bits at the side. So this, as I say, is replicating specifically 2244, and there are other ones that replicate different variations, but because I am a stickler for a little bit of uniqueness and a bit of old Ulsterbus style, I thought I would go with this particular example, purely because it has the old logo on, and this particular repaint does sort of show a particular bus that is something that I do like. I'm always a stickler for things like that. I'm just trying to get a variety to utilise as the thumbnail, because there are a few. I mean, it might be that one with the hill, to be fair, but I just want to get sort of that lovely sunrise in the background. So it is a shame there isn't even a fictitious Northern Ireland map, sort of replicating a fictitious variation of Belfast or Derry. That would be quite good. I am intending on visiting Northern Ireland again. I do want to go to Giant's Causeway. That was one of my biggest regrets of not going when I was in Belfast. I did have the option between Giant's Causeway in an afternoon and Dublin. I chose Dublin because I hadn't been to the Republic before, and I did think the transition between Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland on the motorway would be really cool. It was really cool. It was a unique experience I heavily recommend, and was incredibly cool. I do have a video on it. I did cover it. I sampled the X1 operated by Translink Gold Line, because I did want to sample the X1. I have since been on air coach, so you can. I haven't done air coach to Belfast, but I've done air coach on their other routes, so you can watch a video of me on air coach if you do want a comparison. Not that particular route they do, but I have been on sort of a comparing service, so you can see that. Oh, people do tend to stick upstairs still. I've noticed that with deckers is that if people are downstairs, the paths will get really, the air passengers get very funny about it. There we go, let's make our way. So I do have the video on that. That will be one of the ones I will aim to place in the description of this video. It's on the Amble Central channel. Do go and check it out. It was a very popular video, and it was one I thoroughly enjoyed filming. Really did enjoy filming. It was cool because the X1 goes through a couple of villages in and a couple of different bus stations and bits in Northern Ireland before it then crosses the border. Thus why it's slightly longer than the 705. But you do get to see those different areas. That again was another reason why I particularly chose that service. So it was very cool. Again, heavily recommend it. And I do have a video to cover that in the comments in the description. So do go and check that one out if you are interested. I will also link this repainting. As I say, the Games UK is once again playing OMSI 2. Wonder what Games UK is doing. Might have to speak to him after filming this. I'm very curious. I do have to say, the repaint looks really good. I mean, if we look inside as well, look, we've even got the Translink stickers inside that I do remember. I do remember them being on the B9s and the B7s that I sampled. But it would be quite cool to have a Northern Ireland-esque map with the sort of walls in as well, the partitioned walls. Because at the moment, the current political stance on that is they're working towards getting rid of them. So they are actually working towards no longer requiring them, and hopefully taking some of them down. It was slightly paused due to sort of bits a couple of years ago, unfortunately, where there was a bus burn and what have. I aren't going to do the next trip, however, I am going to do the loop round. So I'm going to try and get through these lines. Oh, don't want to do that. If anybody asks, the lights are on green. Well, they're on orange. There we go. I'm going to move round to the loading stand, and I'll change it to not in service. And then we'll finish the video there. So it would be quite good, as I say, they are looking into getting rid of the walls at the moment, but it would be quite good to have a map reflecting that. I think especially as we've now got such a high quality repaint pack as well for such a lovely bus. It would be quite good to have that, purely because it is a little bit of understanding culture and understanding politics, and sort of digressing that into OMSI that is always exciting, especially that the whole concept around OMSI 2 was around the fall of the Berlin Wall. Initially, it would be quite good to sort of reflect that within Belfast, potentially, and include that, because it was such an interesting bit of history. And I mean, if you go further back in time as well, with the height of the Troubles, that would be quite exciting. We're definitely not making it through them. That would be quite exciting, I think. I hope. I'll have to, you never know, I'll have to see what happens. So the next video is going to be looking at the B7 again. I'm hoping to get hold of these new sounds. As I say, I do watch other videos, and I do actively at the moment try and get involved with other channels and bits like that, just to see what's going on mainly. So I am aware that the sounds have been made. I'm pretty certain they've been released. I could be wrong. There is always a chance, you never know. But we'll see. If they have been released and they are available, they will feature in the next video. If not, I will explain. But anyway, let's get our engine off. And that is us for the 49 from Carmilly to the city centre. A nice little contrast from sort of a little bit of rural, a little bit of dual carriageway action, and then round the city. As I say, with this one, I did notice a little bit of issues with those revs. It seemed to be getting itself locked in a gear. Sort of, even if I was relatively steady on the acceleration, it seemed to be trying to lock itself in. That some B9s do occasionally, arguably not every opportunity. So I did notice that. I mean, B9s do rev like no tomorrow anyway. But I did notice that it was locking itself in a couple of times. So there is that potential to look out for with this. But as I say, for now, still I love the motor. The repaint pack is amazing. I will link it in the description below. As I say, we are starting to look now at our third-party repaint packs made by yourselves on Fellas Film Forum. Some of them are just absolutely phenomenal. That's why I want to showcase them. So as I say, a little bit of Northern Irish brought back into the B9, a little bit of their origin, being from Ballymena. So yeah, really nice repaint pack that I do thoroughly recommend. So with all that said and done, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have done, do be sure to subscribe to the And More Bus Videos YouTube channel for OMSI 2 content twice a week. And do make sure you check out the videos in the description below if you want a little bit more context from my trips a couple of years ago to Belfast, Northern Ireland. And you can also check out my main channel and More Central for more content from the real life bus industry, as well as my Day in the Life of Bus Driver series, where you get to see me driving real life buses. So I don't just do the simulator stuff, I do the real life thing as well. Well, as the individual walks towards the camera, I do hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one I make. Oh my goodness, she's actually coming for us. I'll see you. Goodbye for now. I'll see you all in the next video I make. Bye for now. Bye. Oh, she's back. Oh, she's decided she wants to go back the other way. Fair dues.